What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Jungle, brought to you by Blue Wire Podcast Network. Hope everyone's having an excellent week. I am Joe Farsing. That's Parker Fields. Parker, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Ready to talk a little schedule talk.
Nothing warms my heart more than talking about games that are weeks and months away. I know we have to do it because we're Bengals podcast, but is there anything more at a point? I don't want to say pointless, but just absolute much ado about nothing than literally just talking about games that we knew where they were months ago.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just like the NFL offseason is so damn long.
Yeah.
it's so long.
They create their own, like the league itself creates, I don't want to say holidays, but creates moments that just to keep it going, just to keep itself in the national spotlight. Again, like schedule release, like and then the leaks and everything. I will say, like, have you watched any of the schedule release videos that the teams put out?
Yeah, I have.
A lot of them were well done. The Bengals was really funny. Anytime you get mascots knocking the ever-loving crap out of little kids, it's hilarious. UC Bearcat mascot is notorious for just absolutely destroying kids anytime there's a mascot game, and I'm here for it because it's a mascot. What else are you going to do? And Bearcat mascot is notorious for doing dumb shit like getting arrested for throwing snowballs in the stands. You probably don't remember that.
No, I don't.
Bearcats had a game and it was snowing, and he was on top of the flag post in the student section and was throwing snowballs onto the field, and he actually got arrested and led away in handcuffs in his costume. So I'm here for it because I think it's hilarious. And what else you want a mascot to do? Are they really getting you pumped up? No, just be entertaining. If you guys are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're listening to us on the audio feed, rate us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find it. I think we're still available on vinyl, 8-tracks if you can find them. Getting a weekly 8-track, I appreciate those that actually go to the record store to get that to pop into their 1977 Chevy Malibu. That's hardcore fans there, and we're here for you guys. So. Also check out patreon.com from Cincy. Subscribe for as low as $2 a month. Get access to our Patreon exclusives like the Ever Hopping Slack channel, which is our own private Twitter. We have Zoom Hangouts. Also, we didn't talk about this last time. We have our live show for the Reds show, July 6th at Smoke Justice in Covington, 12 to 2. We'll be talking about a lot between here and there. That'll be awesome. Awesome food. Walk across the suspension bridge to get over to the Reds, play the Tigers that game. I will be drinking a lot because I don't really think the Reds are going to be relevant at that point. So at least, maybe I can stumble and fall into the river, which would be fun for the group following with us. So
same. I'll be drinking with you.
I mean, stop by, say hello to us. Tim will be there. Don't know about Nate. Our good buddy Nate Dotson of the Riverfront Red Show just moved to Dallas in May. So, it's about 120 degrees there, and it's going to be 120 degrees for the next 4 months. So it's a dry heat though, Nate, you'll be okay. All right. Before we get on the topic of this week, a little bit of news and notes. All draft picks after round 2 have been signed. Jermaine Burton, McKinley Jackson, Eric All, Josh Newton, Tanner McLaughlin, Cedric Johnson, Dejon Anthony, Matt Lee. Only Amarius Mims and Chris Jenkins Jr. remain. This is why I love the slotted system. Like, there are no holdouts. Like, you'll occasionally see like some guaranteed language, someone quibble over that, but it's rare that somebody isn't in by day one. I mean, shoot, we're 2 months from training camp, and all but the Bengals' top 2 guys are signed, sealed, and delivered and participating in the offseason workouts. It's nice just to know. I mean, Bengals had a problem with first-round picks over the years, not reporting till the end of training camp, and then trying to start the season with guys you haven't even seen on the field yet. So,
yeah, 100%. It is nice that everybody's getting signed early. Hopefully, they can figure things out with the first 2-round picks too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to think that's going to take any time at all. Again, like, most Bengals are ahead of most teams. Some teams have everyone signed, but not everyone is at that point yet. So, I mean, again, we're nothing to worry about there. Also, as of now, Antoine Winfield Jr. signed an extension with the Bucs, which means T. Higgins is the only franchise tag E left who hasn't signed a long-term extension. Sides have until July 15th to get a deal done. you're a gambling guy. What are the odds on it happening? I say 150, negative 150 against it happening. I don't like. What do you think? I don't think it's going to happen. But where would you put odds on it actually signing?
Probably like minus 300, to be honest.
That big? Okay.
Probably like plus 400 that it'll happen. It definitely, there's a good, there's definitely a chance, like a 25% chance it happens, but definitely 75-25, I'd say. I don't think it's going to happen.
Good value in it then, just putting a couple bones on the possibility, so.
Exactly.
So outside of that, not a lot of other news going on. The Bengals are doing their offseason workout. Burrow looks good. Again, there's more idiot stuff on Pat McAfee's show. Someone else has brought up they had the same surgery and only has 50% of the feeling in his hand and his wrist after the surgery, similar surgery. That's because he had surgery months after the season after he played through the injury. Burrow had his a week and a half after. Again, the guy's on a football field throwing footballs 50, 60 yards. If he had issues with neurological issues with feeling, he wouldn't be able to spin a football. Why are we still talking about this?
Literally. And his throws he's making, and obviously it's, mini camp and stuff like that, but he looks good. Everything looks fine. He's flicking his wrist nicely. It looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can only say so much when you're throwing on air, but again, the throws look like Joe Burrow. These obviously the players
look any different from his release or anything like that.
Exactly. Obviously, the players are going to play it up. Andre Yosefas said it looks like it's coming out harder, and they have all the tools there to measure the actual velocity and everything. But he's fine. He's fine. He's making throws he's healthy. They're not. Find something else. Just worry about your own teams. Just don't be idiots. So, all right. On to the topic. Schedule release. So exciting. Seeing a bunch of names and times on a piece of paper. So fun. Did talk about the other teams. Did you see by chance the Chargers schedule release video?
I did not. Oh, the Pop-Tart thing?
No.
I saw that on Twitter.
No, they did it in the theme of the Sims game.
Oh, okay.
It was absolutely awesome.
The Pop-Tart thing too?
I saw something about it. I don't. I only saw it. I didn't look into it too much.
They just made a Pop-Tart flavor for every team. I forget what the Bengals was, but the.
Oh, that's right. It was Skyline. It was cheese conies. Skyline cheese conies. Yeah. Uh-huh. So the actual schedule release video. So Harrison Butker, kicker of the Chiefs, has been in the news for reasons. We'll not get into the too much of it, but the hilarious part is that the Chargers release video had Harrison Butker in the kitchen cooking and cleaning, which is absolutely fucking amazing and hilarious. If you understand the reference that they're trying to make. So again, kudos on the Chargers for that. So
yeah, 100%. I saw that too. That was funny.
Well done. We'll pull the schedule up here real quick for those here. Initial thoughts on the schedule itself without going into any games.
The early slate is definitely much easier outside the Chiefs game. It definitely starts off much easier and stuff like that. I'm a little shocked by only one Sunday night football game this year. I'm kind of very shocked about that.
Yeah.
Especially being the Giants. That's kind of a weird Sunday night football game.
Really weird.
Cowboys on Monday Night Football is going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. Just look at the other primetime games. 2 Thursday Night Football games is really, really weird. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
That's really I don't like that, honestly.
No.
I'm not a fan of the 2 Thursday night games. And I mean, Commanders on Monday Night Football is just not a good Monday Night Football game, to be honest, either there. They could surprise us, obviously, and is Jaden Daniels even going to be playing in that game? Is it going to be Marcus Mariota?
I have no idea. Sam Howell's still there, I think.
No. He's a Seahawk. Yeah, he's a Seahawk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, duh. Yeah. I mean, again, soft early part of the schedule. Of their first 4 games, only the Chiefs have their returning head coach. Patriots have Gerard Mayo. Dave Canales is at Carolina, and Dan Quinn at Washington. Possibly 2 rookie quarterbacks. I think Drake May's probably going to be the starting quarterback day 1 for the Patriots.
Who do they have? Is it Brissett?
Brissett, yeah. Again, so either one. I mean, Bengals have seen Brissett with. I feel like they played him with 10 different teams.
Yeah.
It seems like every season they play. It was like Andy Dalton. They saw Andy Dalton like 3 different seasons with 3 different teams.
Yeah, I think
consecutively.
his first 3 years when he left the Bengals, we played him.
Yeah, just weird schedule quirks. So neither of those quarterbacks are scary. Jacoby Brissett's a nice, like decent, like a good backup quarterback, but he's a backup quarterback. You're playing a poor team that was picking 3rd in the NFL draft because they did not have a very good roster.
And then the reason they even won a few games by just winning ugly is now gone. And Belichick, like the only reason they won a few ugly defensive games was because of Belichick.
Yeah, exactly. So sad not to see Mac Jones try to trip people because that's what he does, because he's a bitch.
Yeah. I do like Drake May, though. I do think he has a lot of potential.
I think he's got potential. Again, I still think Daniels is going to be the best quarterback out of the draft, but that'll play itself out over the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Bengals play 1 game in 23 days. So they play Thursday, November 7th against the Ravens. 10 days later, they play the Chargers. They don't play again until December 1st against the Steelers. Really, it's odd. It comes at a nice time because it's past the halfway point of the season. So you make it to the first half relatively healthy. You've got a lot of time. I mean, you have basically 1 game in almost a month to get guys healthy and rested up.
Yeah.
But it's weird because then immediately after that, after the Steelers game, then you have 3 games in 10 days. They play Monday night in Dallas, Sunday regular Sunday kickoff against the Titans, and then on Sunday or the following Thursday at home against the Browns. 2 other teams have to play 3 times in 10 days. And for a league that tries the stress, it's all about player safety. This is just it's just fucking terrible.
That's a lot of football. This isn't basketball or baseball. That's a lot of football.
I mean, the problem is if someone gets nicked up, guys going to get nicked up all the time. But someone who, be questionable, someone get nicked up and would, by later in the week would, be able to take a couple days off. They're not going to be able to play in all these games because they're not going to have time to rest up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's actually that legitimately looks like an NBA schedule, damn near. Like they'd probably play 4 instead of 3 in 10 days.
Yeah. And like football is a little more of a contact sport than basketball, but it's just, again, this isn't like crying about the Bengals because 2 other teams, I forget who, Ravens, I think, either another team in the division, and one other team has to play that similar 3 in 10 days, a Monday, a Sunday, and then a Thursday. It's just bad timing.
Yeah.
They do have 5 primetime games. They have 2 games at Paycor, 3 games on the road, 2 primetime divisional games. I'm not happy about that. Bengals always get divisional games in primetime, which I don't know. It's at least it's not like 2 years ago when they had all 3 road games were primetime games. I think the Steelers game ended up getting flexed out, but that just puts you at a huge disadvantage. Road in the AFC North, it's impossible to win a road primetime game. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It is damn near impossible to pull that off. It's just that the games are too tough. The teams are too tough. They only have the one, they play in Baltimore, which is going to be a tough game no matter when you play it. So I guess that's the benefit. You're not facing like a Steelers team that isn't very good that you're going to give away a game because it's, some midweek game, but still.
I agree with you. I just, I don't like the 2 Thursday night football games. I'm really not a fan of that at all. I'm really not a fan of that at all.
If you're going to do that shit, one of them needs to be after a bye week.
I will say just off projections, how good these teams are supposed to be, our schedule is relatively easy compared to other teams. Very.
Off of schedule strength from last year, they have the easiest in the division. Literally, Ravens, Browns, Steelers are 1, 2, 3 in the NFL of having the 3 strongest schedules to play against because they're playing the AFC North. Bengals are at 16 because they're playing. Obviously, they're playing the other last or teams that finished last in the divisions for the common opponent games. But you take away the AFC North games, and it's not a really tough schedule. You have a couple decent teams. Cowboys and Eagles are strong teams, but who knows what they're going to look like.
And the Chiefs, of course.
Yeah, and the Chiefs every year you're going to play them. So it's weird they're playing 3 NFC East teams in prime time.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. That's really weird. It's 3 NFC North teams and then 2 AFC North teams are our primetime games. That's really weird how scheduling worked with that.
Yeah, and the best matchup of the between the Bengals and an NFC East team is the only one that's not in prime time. The Eagles, Bengals Eagles has the looks to be a phenomenal game, and that's the one being played on Sunday at 4:25. So, oh well. All right, let's get into it week by week. Week 1, home versus the Patriots. We knew it was going to be a home game. Leaked a little earlier. It's going to be the Patriots. First game for Drud Mayo. Probably the first game for Drake May. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they ain't. This is a very nice opening game, I think, for the Bengals to get on a good foot, right?
Yeah, they definitely should be able to win this game, and they should be able to win it pretty handily, I'd say. There's probably going to be a double-digit spread to start the season, if I had to guess.
I saw it opened at 9.5, which is the largest spread for any Week 1 game. I've seen it between 8 and 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, it should be though. It's just on paper, it's not a good matchup for the Patriots, but I mean, it's the NFL. You never know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy if I were the Patriots. This is who they draw for Week 1 with the new quarterback and a new coach, but that's a them problem, not an us problem. So
exactly.
Week 2, Bengals are in Kansas City. Pat Mahomes, Kansas City gets an extended week to prepare after they open on Thursday night against the Ravens. Would you prefer to play the Chiefs earlier in the season or late?
I don't know. We've had a lot of success playing them late in the season, so I guess later in the season just based off history. But, I mean, it will be nice to, knock on wood, but, Burrow will be playing in this game. So that's a lot nicer for sure, and he's more healthy, well-rested, and everything like that. But the only problem is I bet you, though, it's going to be a lot more of a conceded effort. We have to get off to a good start this season.
Yeah.
We can't have another 0-2 start, 1-3 start this year again.
Absolutely. As a football fan, I think Bengals and Chiefs should be played in December or January, late in the season game heading into the playoffs. Teams jockeying for, seeding in playoffs, but you play them when you play them. It would be interesting. Again, this is 4 seasons in a row they all played in Kansas City, 2 times in the playoffs, and then back-to-back seasons in Kansas City. But oh well, Bengals will be ready. So
I agree.
Week 3, the first primetime game of the season, Monday Night Football versus the Commanders. It'd be awesome if Jane Daniels were playing by then. Dan Quinn's 3rd game at the helm as the new head coach of Washington. This is the possibility of being the whiteout and the Ring of Honor game. So I think the atmosphere, Bengals do primetime home games just right. I mean, that atmosphere, it's almost college-like. So awesome. The team will be hyped. The crowd will be hyped. I don't worry about primetime games against lesser opponents like I did against Marvin Lewis, where even if they won, they were going to play absolute dog shit, and you'd have to slog one out. So another one again on paper, who knows what the teams are going to look like 3 weeks into the season, but on paper it looks like a game they should handle. Bright lights for against the young team.
Last year we had a Monday Night Football game week 3 too versus the Rams.
Yeah,
that's weird. Back-to-back years we got a Monday Night Football game, on week 3, of course. But yeah. I mean, it's a game we definitely should handily win. The Commanders obviously are a rebuilding franchise, rebuilding team. They got some good players on there though, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't think this will be a blowout game by any means. I think the Commanders will hang around a little bit, especially if Mariota plays, because Jaden Daniels probably prone to some mistakes early on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still very confident we can win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see nothing to do with actual matchups or anything. I just want to see Jaden. I like Jaden Daniels. I like his style. I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback, and I would like to see him. But yeah, it's a strong possibility that he's not starting quarterback by then. So we shall see. Yeah. Week 4 at Carolina versus Panthers. Is Bryce Young going to make a leap in year 2? I mean, he needs to leap.
I think he'll be better. Like, I don't think he's going to be worse by any means, but I don't know how big of a leap he's going to take.
If he played behind the Bengals offensive line, he'd have to take a huge leap because he's really short and Bengals line is really, really tall.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him trying to look over 2 6'8" tackles?
Literally. How tall is he? Like, what was he at the combine? Did he get measured? Like, was he 6 foot even?
I don't think he was at the combine.
They got him listed at 5'10".
Yeah, I was gonna say his listed height is okay. So 5'10" and an eighth, weighing at 200. Okay, so that was official at the combine, but like that's even that looks he even looks short for someone who's 5'10". Again, you don't have to be 6'5", 6'6". You don't have to be a statue in the pocket. But Drew Brees is pretty much the only like short quarterback who's had extended success.
Russell Wilson.
I mean, what's Wilson listed? Is he 5'11"?
Yeah, he's 5'11". Russell Wilson.
Okay. He looks a lot taller than.
I think it's because he's built. He's very stocky.
Okay.
Wilson's built.
Okay. Kyler Murray's shown flashes for in and out for a couple for how long he's been in the league now, but he's never been able to do it consistently. And I don't think height has too much to do about it. But you want someone that can scan the field clearly without having to look through little passing windows.
Brees is the only he's the only one that wasn't a freak athlete to succeed at that height. Because like Mike Vick, obviously freak athlete. Russell Wilson's a great athlete too. And then Kyler Murray's a freakish athlete as well. Like all those guys are super fast. Young Russell Wilson, obviously. As he got older, he's developed into more of a pocket passer, obviously. But young Russell Wilson was really fast.
Yeah, really dynamic and still kind of a phony douchebag.
he's still pretty quick though. For his age and everything. Yeah,
it's just he's always, and we talked a lot like with my previous partner. He's just a phony, fraudulent acting person. Yeah, like, it just seems like everything he says, everything he does, has just completely been like workshopped and.
He's very calculated with everything he does.
Run through test audiences to make sure that and he just comes across like a cringy dork.
Yeah, I don't know if he I think there's a good chance he is a really good person and stuff, but I just think it's like he tries so hard to make sure he doesn't screw up that it comes across really fake. Yeah,
maybe it's. I mean, I'm not going to get into psychology. He might be insecure and he just wants to,
psychology podcast now.
Right. Anyway, he's probably a decent guy, but again, just kind of like Derek Jeter. Like you don't like you're not seeing the real person. You're seeing what some management team has them putting out. So, oh well, I don't care. He's not a very good quarterback anymore. We'll deal with him when we get to the Steelers later in the season. So. Week 5 versus the Ravens home. Ravens have a really tough early portion of the schedule. At Chiefs, Raiders, okay, a little down game. Then at Buffalo or at Dallas, home for Buffalo, then at Cincinnati. That's a very optimistic schedule if you're a Bengals fan.
They could be 1-3 going into that game, legitimately. They really could be 1-3.
Yeah, I mean that their team that they lost a lot of players and personnel, coaches, in the offseason. So. They could still have a really quality team and easily be 1-3 head into that week. They might be desperate. Bengals can take control of the. Ravens are the best team, right, in the division than the Bengals, like Browns and Steelers, just because of quarterback play. So, Bengals can completely take advantage of the division by winning that game. So,
always a tough matchup, of course. I mean, it's always going to be a tough matchup. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Week 6 at the Giants, Sunday Night Football. Primetime games aren't easy, but what are the Giants? Are they the team that 2 years ago was kind of surprised and strong and made the playoffs, or are they the team last year that kind of sucked ass?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know to predict. Like, I could see them going 10-7 and making the wild card, and I could also see them winning 4 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't know what the Giants are going to be this season at all. Truthfully.
And that's just
what Daniel Jones are you getting? Are you getting the 2 years ago Daniel Jones or every other season of his career Daniel Jones?
Yeah. The only concern is Jones does have a good arm and Malik Neighbors is fantastic. So would not be a shock to see a LSU wide receiver lighten up stats that early in the season. So it's not going to be a cakewalk, but it's a game they should win. So we'll see.
You know what this kind of reminds me of with Daniel Jones? It's kind of like, I feel like he's the first starter to not really perform well at all early in his career and be given that second contract and everything since like Alex Smith. Like seriously,
Yeah.
like of those top picks, like this never happens anymore. Like he had one solid season, but
and it was contract season. That was his contract year.
And he has 62 touchdown passes in 5 seasons as a starting quarterback. That's crazy to think about.
And they paid him 180.
Half of them were in his rookie year.
Yeah.
He had 24 his rookie year. Outside of that, his highest is 15 in 2022. But like he also they didn't ask that much of him. Like he ran the ball really well, had a lot of touchdowns in the ground game too. So like the season was better than the stats tell you right off the bat. But like just crazy that he's been rewarded this contract. And like, is this his last shot? I would think.
Yeah, it very well might be.
But it very well might not be either. Because I thought last year was probably his last shot and they got hurt. So
yeah.
I don't know.
4 years, $160 million for that guy. Again, the teams make those decisions, not me, but it's better to have a guy that at least is something than be wandering through the desert.
True.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have our guy. That's all I care about. All right, next week, week 7 at Cleveland. Zach Taylor's yet to win in Cleveland, and their defense is expected to be fantastic again. Doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They need to keep number 9 upright, or they're not going to win.
This feels like a loss.
Yeah, you just glancing at the schedule. You're bookmarking
coming
that.
off a Sunday night football game, maybe a Ravens win before that game. Like this kind of feels like a loss looking at the schedule.
Yeah, exactly. This is trying to figure what day is that. I remember 2 years ago. Okay, the 20th. 2 years ago, the Bengals played the Browns on Monday Night Football. That's the game that Cheeto went out and blew us in the end, and then they just got absolutely eviscerated that week. But this is October 20th, not the.
I think it was 30-0 at one point in that game.
It was bad. Bengals scored a couple touchdowns late to make it look less awful, but yeah, it was gross. I turned the game off, like a quick rush home, taking the kids out trick or treating, and then come back and like this is just okay. Thought I was going to stay up late. Might be able to turn the TV off a little early and get some sleep. So, we talked about this one a little bit earlier. Week 8 versus the Eagles. Good test for a defense against what's likely to be a really good offense. I think this is probably my favorite matchup on the schedule.
This game's going to be a shootout, I feel like.
This
game will be a shootout. Because that Eagles secondary has been bad.
Yeah. I mean, they lost literally everybody 2 years ago and trying to rebuild it. It'll be a fun, again, the conference or the division games are always fun and always tough, but look at the schedule. I hate the Cowboys just because they're always overhyped. So seeing the Eagles, like this should be a fun game. When Bengals played them 4 years ago, Burrow absolutely got killed that game. I think he got sacked 7 or 8 times. One time I legitimately thought he was dead on the field. Fletcher, the Eagles. Yeah.
Was that his rookie year? Is that the game? Has he played him since?
Don't think so.
I think that's his rookie year. I was about to say.
Yeah, he got absolutely Fletcher Cox. I think I thought put him in the morgue. Bengals line is obviously better now than it was then, but
on paper at least.
Yeah, exactly. Should be a fun game. Next week, another home game versus the Raiders. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. Doesn't matter.
No, I don't think it matters. I think we should be able to take care of the Raiders either way. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself and say we'll definitely take care of them, but I mean, this is definitely a game that should be won by us for sure.
If you can cover a tight end, then you're fine since they now have Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. But
yeah,
outside of that, you don't like it's like you can't like expect every game to be an ass kicking or something like that. But yeah, this not a game that you're looking at like, oh man, they gotta watch their backs. They could be sneaky good. No, they could be sneaky awful.
I think they'll probably win 6 or 7 games, if I had to guess. I don't think they'll be like the worst team in the league, but I don't expect them to be great either.
I think it really depends on what the rest of the division is. I don't know what the Chargers are.
Yeah, I could see the Chargers being 12-5. I could also see them being like 7-10. I don't know.
Yeah, and the Broncos. I mean, what are they? When is Bo Nix playing?
So
that could be.
Broncos are going to be horrible.
Probably. There's a good chance. Sean Payton's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. Thing
that's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, just on that alone, you can say maybe 6-11 or something. But
is Zach Wilson the Week 1 starter?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he's used to playing out in the mountains, so maybe he relives some of the.
Could save him too. If anybody could save him, it would be Sean Payton too. Like if anybody can get something out of Zach Wilson, it will be Sean Payton. So we'll see. I mean, he still makes throws that you're like, wow.
Yeah, arm talent is there. The arm talent is there. Just from here up.
That Chiefs game was crazy. The throws he was making in that game.
Yeah, just from here up is the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So next week, short week, Thursday Night Football at the Ravens. Almost a year to the day of Burrow's season-ending injury on Thursday Night Football in Baltimore. Sick joke, assholes.
Literally.
It's literally the only note that I put on here. Sick joke, assholes. This is another one to where you don't expect a loss, but you expect it's going to be hard to come back with a W in that one. So good team, short week, prime time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Next week on the road again, but again, this is now in the super long 1 game and 23 days break. Head out to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. I don't know what the offense is going to be. Harbaugh likes to run the ball.
They're the Ravens. They signed the Ravens' old offensive coordinator, and they signed all the Ravens running backs.
Yeah.
They're going to be the Ravens, I feel like.
But you have I don't know.
Maybe the most talented quarterback in the NFL.
Arm talent, absolutely. Yeah. Absolute rifle. They got rid of all their wide receivers outside of Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnson.
Yeah. And they didn't draft a receiver, which everybody thought they would.
Yeah, so I have no idea what they're going to look like.
Brendan Rice?
Yeah. I have no idea what to expect from them. So Bengals, you figure on paper are the better team, but maybe they're going to bring back the triple option or the wing formation or something. The old Wisconsin who knows?
You could tell me the Chargers are 8-2 heading in this game, or 3-7. And I would believe both of them 100%. I have no idea what they're going to be.
I think you literally could say that about every Chargers team since the team formed in the old AFL, though.
Just about.
They win big in seasons you think that they're kind of mediocre, and seasons that you're gearing up like, oh man, this is a team like they're going to contend for a Super Bowl, and they go out and they go 5-11 or 5-12 now, and they're like,
yeah,
what happened?
Like last year, 5-12, last year's team, and it's like they made the playoffs the year before. They've been winning record the last 3 years. You were expecting, at minimum, a 9-8 season again, and they go 5-12. Yeah, Herbert got hurt and missed the last 4 games, but they were bad with him on the field too.
Yeah, that was the end of the season. Great, that's season was already sunk by then.
Yeah, I bet you he would have came back too and played if they were good. Same with Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
I don't
most
think
likely.
It was that crazy of injuries.
I mean, that was AJ Green in 2019. He could have been, or Joe Mixon. They probably could have made their way back, but team's ass, and they're not trying to lose, but team isn't rushing them back to try to win some meaningless games so they can avoid or miss out on drafting Joe Burrow.
100%.
Next week is their bye. I think the bye again. I think about how the season shakes out for having that break falls in a perfect time because they'll play the bulk of their schedule. Only a handful of games afterwards, but they get a lot of time to get these guys back. So guys that are nicked up, good time to get healthy, kind of lick your wounds, and then get yourself back ready for the stretch run. Not the toughest end of season stretch by any imagination, but still games like you want your guys to be as fresh as possible, heading into trying to push for the division, trying to push for whatever seeding that they're ultimately going to be in the playoffs. So
yeah, I'm with you there.
Coming out of the bye, finally takes until week 13 to home against the Steelers. Yeah, weird to play them that late. Usually the Bengals have been playing the Steelers like really early in the season.
I think 2 years ago we didn't play them until late in the season too.
Was it
rookie year? Yeah, I think it was late in the season that year too.
Okay. Well, 2 years ago, Bengals played them first week of the season. That was Pickett's rookie year because Trubisky started game one. That was the one where Burrow threw 2 pick sixes, and they still they would have won the game if Mitch Wilcox could snap to. Again, can't blame the guy. He's a backup long snapper and a tight end, but they still would have come back and won that game.
2020, they played twice late in the season.
Okay.
End of November and then end of December. That's what I was thinking of.
That's right. That was the Juju Smith Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
Knocking him on his ass and Ryan Finley. Fun times. Who do you think is going to be quarterback in that team by then? You think it's going to be Wilson?
Yeah, because I think they'll be like above 500. So honestly, I think Russell Wilson will probably be the quarterback. They'll be hovering in the playoff race, so I think it'll be Russell Wilson still.
Yeah, still expect the offense to be.
But I'm not
going
to be shocked if Fields is the quarterback by then. I'm not going to be shocked, but I would, if I had to put my money on it, I would pick Wilson.
Yeah, most likely. You figure Fields or Wilson is still a top 20 starting quarterback, maybe in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
still so. They would be smart to work packages. I'd put both of them on the field at the same time. Fields is crazy athletic. He's got a great arm. He's got the ability to play quarterback. He hasn't put it together yet, but put them both on the field for have a package of plays for that, and then just do something funky.
Even though last year Justin Fields was good throwing the ball the second half of the season, he really was.
Yeah. And then they trade him they get pretty much a bag of peanuts for him.
Yeah, that was crazy that his value was that low to me.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah. Because it's the Steelers, you expect their offense won't be good, and you expect their defense are going to be really good because they still have TJ Watt. They still have
Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin still running the show. Cam Hayward and Minkah Fitzpatrick. So next week starts the fun stretch of 3 and 10 days. Monday Night Football at Dallas. Difficult game against one of the strongest rosters in the NFC. Dak Prescott gets a lot of unwarranted shit. I think he's a really good quarterback.
We struggled versus the Cowboys 2 years ago. Micah Parsons absolutely killed us.
They were still winning towards the end of the game there. They were back. But yeah, that was.
But Micah Parsons was just having a field day.
Absolutely. And that's why I don't care if it's Trent Brown. I don't care if it's Amarius Mims, Orlando Brown on the other side. You need to the best players are going to get sacks. Garrett's going to line up all over the field. He's going to they're going to move him around your weakest link. Same thing with Parsons, but you can't let them just one player absolutely just destroy your game. Let it they're going to get a sack or two. Okay, fine, whatever, but they can't be in the backfield every other play putting a hit on him or making him just throw the ball away or forcing them into bad throws.
Yeah, that was definitely one of Parsons' best games of his career so far. I don't know how many sacks he had, but I just remember he was in the backfield every damn time Burrow dropped back that game.
He was there more often than Joe Mixon.
Literally.
Yeah. Following week 15 at Tennessee, you get to say hello to our old friends Brian Callahan, Tyler Boyd. Another team, I think they're.
I think they're going to be in the thick of the of the wild card for a good portion of the season. I don't know if they'll get in, but I think they'll surprise people this year.
Yeah, week 15. There's not impossible. They'll be 6-7, 7-6, maybe 5-8, but still, have their eyes on the playoffs because they've got talent. I think they're still a year away. Will Levis looked to be more of not project, but a guy that wasn't plug and play. And he put some throws on paper last year that throws on tape last year that looked like he's an NFL quarterback. But I think they still have a way to go. But that's not a super strong division. So.
Yeah, outside of the Texans, I mean, that division is pretty damn weak.
Which is hilarious because last year the Texans were thought to be an 0-16 or 0-17 candidate.
Yeah, literally. And they started off the year bad, too.
Yeah.
They weren't good to start the year either. I mean, the Jaguars, like, it's so weird. That division's so weird because you could tell me the Jaguars go 13-4 and win the division, and I would be like, okay. And the Texans were like 10-7 again, not like crazy. But then you can also tell me the Jaguars are like 8-9, and the Texans go 14-3, and I wouldn't tell you no either. Like, I don't know what the hell's going to happen in that division.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson's coming back from his injuries, and that guy looked absolutely amazing in the short time that he was actually out there for the Colts. So I mean, that guy has probably the strongest arm I think that I've ever seen.
Yeah, agreed. And are the Titans just like the old Bengals, like the receiving core? They're just like the advanced age version of the Bengals receiving core they had.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they are old. Their receiving core is old. The DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins is 32. Is he 32 or 33? I think he's only 32. Like, will be 32. He's shockingly young because he came into the NFL at like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 31. He'll be 32 when the season starts.
Yeah.
Ridley, I think, is 29, I want to say. And then Boyd's 29. I know Boyd's 29.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Ridley turns 30 at the end of the year.
But still, it's a really good receiving core for a young quarterback, though.
Well, and the only young receiver that they have was the first rounder they got 2 years ago when they tried to replace A.J. Brown. And, yeah, Treylon Burks. And he had a pretty solid rookie year and then just completely fell out of favor. I don't know. I don't follow him enough to know what the issue was. Just on the field mistakes or struggling with playbook or whatever it was. But, yeah, he completely just fell off the favor. The guy's got a ton of talent. If they want to just let him go, I'll be happy for the Bengals to pick him up to add more. Never have enough receivers.
Yeah, and I am pretty, like, not just my Kentucky biased. I do think Levis can be a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, he had decent numbers last season for a rookie. Like, 85 passer rating, double the touchdowns and picks, like, was efficient with the ball. Like, some stuff you didn't really see in college because he was kind of just a gunslinger in college.
Yeah.
Like, he threw a good amount of picks in college. Also, though, he was throwing the you and me at receiver. But
Kentucky's never been known for their wide receiver core.
Oh my god! Outside of Wan'Dale Robinson, he was really good his junior year when he had Wan'Dale Robinson there.
Yeah. So, following week, end of the kind of shitty nightmare stretch. Thursday night football at home against the Browns. Will Deshaun Watson still be the quarterback?
Yeah, I kind of think like he had I just based off just like he's due to like finish a season. That's my logic here, legitimately. That's like my only logic. I just kind of feel like he's due to play this season.
I mean, and I put down, injury, performance, or jail could all have him out of the lineup. You never know. He could go back to the massage table. For a guy making that much money to be that.
Go back to the massage table. That's awful. That's hilarious. We're not going to skip over that. That's hilarious.
I was just going to drop it and let just move on.
That's funny.
They can't live with that performance. His money is gigantic. 60 some odd $1 million cap hits over the next couple years. But at some point, this is a team that is a legitimate contender.
Yeah.
And he is.
That guy was so damn good too. Like, he was one of my favorite players in the league on the Texans. I love Deshaun Watson. He was so good. Like, there was legitimately like debates like Mahomes is better, but like how much? Like, is he that much better than Watson? Like, seriously, like Watson was considered a top 3 quarterback in the league at like age 23. Like,
top
5 at least.
5 at least.
Like, he was definitely up there. Like, Watson was damn good. And, like, even the year they sucked his last year to Houston, he had his best statistical season for a 4-12 team. Like, he had 112 passer rating that year, 33 touchdowns, 7 picks, almost 5,000 yards, 70% completion. Like, the guy was damn good.
Yeah. And
I have a hard time believing, like, he's just completely regressed his talent because he's 28. Like, he's still young. So that's like, he's the same age as Mahomes.
Yeah. Again, like, I don't feel bad for anything that happened to him. But like, it's just weird.
Agreed.
Like, again, like that's a team that if they had I mean, Joe Flacco was their damn savior. 80-year-old Joe Flacco, like literally just walking in off the couch was like an absolute revelation for them because they had so many guys like played so many different quarterbacks. And now they're back to Deshaun Watson and his $68 million cap hit or whatever it is right now. And they're hoping that he regains even just a small modicum of success that he had while he was in Houston. So I'll be happy. I'll be happy if he's still quarterbacking because he's not any good. I'll be happy if he's out because fuck that guy. Week 17, Bengals play the Broncos at home. To be decided if the game is on a Saturday or a Sunday. Last two games, they're at flex or whatever the hell you want to say. Like they'll move them around depending on matchups and TV ratings and all that fun shit. Figure by this time Bo Nix should be under center. Zach Wilson will. Again, he's not brought in there to be a starter. He's brought in there just to be a bridge guy. A game that you expect that the Bengals should have a leg up on, but who knows? I mean, Broncos are not without talent, but Broncos aren't set to win this year.
What are you going to do if Week 17 rolls around? The Broncos are 10-5 and Zach Wilson is an MVP candidate. What would you do?
The MILF Hunter lives. I don't know, man.
I still see the talent in him.
Yeah. I mean,
I was high as hell on Zach Wilson. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought that pro day, man, oh my God.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a surprise, but it's not happening.
No.
No. Good on him if he gets it together, but yeah. They wouldn't have drafted Bo Nix if they had any in the first round if they thought that he was going to be anything more than a stopgap. So,
yeah, 100%.
Last game of the season. Hopefully, it will be a game where the Bengals are starting Jake Browning and a bunch of backups as they're resting up for the playoffs. But they're at the Steelers. Again, same story. It's either Saturday or Sunday, 1 o'clock, 4:15. It could be flex. Who knows?
Defense is awesome. Offense sucks.
Yeah, exactly. We know the story. Again, like this, the Steelers will probably be playing. They'll be 8-8 going into the game. They'll need the game to finish over 500 to keep Tomlin's insane stretch around. There's been some truly like just mediocre football teams.
Steelers teams.
Yeah. And whatever voodoo magic, whatever
like the
pixie dust
of football is what they are. That's what I'd compare them to.
Yeah, and there's just some crazy pixie dust shit that he like just spreads, and suddenly like they're able to overcome just being mediocre and finish at the bottom of the playoff bracket, or just miss out. So they're going to be tough. They're going to be playing hard, but presumably this game shouldn't. I don't want to say presumably. I'm not assuming anything. I thought the Bengals were going to go 13-4 last season and cakewalk into the Super Bowl, but
so did I. You
assume that the Bengals should be in good shape by then.
I forgot the Steelers were 10-7 last year.
Yeah, 10-7. Like, they went 2-0 against the Bengals against Jake Browning, and those could have gone other way if they had Burrow. But I mean,
I think it's because I forgot they were in the playoffs. I completely forgot they were in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot Mason Rudolph started in Buffalo. That game completely slipped my mind. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking they went 9-8 and missed out.
No, Rudolph tore the Bengals apart. That's how bad the Bengals defense last year was.
That game was awful.
Yeah,
and that was
getting kicked tore them apart.
That was a game the Bengals win, and they're gonna be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, that game. I mean, that was Week 17. That game knocked the Bengals out of the playoffs and gave the Steelers the path in that last playoff spot. Yeah. And Jake Browning quarterback, Bengals aren't going to do much, but I'd still rather watch them go one and done in the playoffs than to sit home and have no rooting interest.
100%.
So I hate doing this because it's dumb. You don't know who's going to be healthy, who's going to be injured. And we're not going to do a game-by-game result, but looking at the schedule, looking at the Bengals, what do you think that their record's going to be?
It's just so hard because last year I said 13-4.
Yeah.
But like this schedule, it's easier than last year's. I'm gonna go 13-4 again.
I'm gonna hedge only because I get bit in the ass.
Yeah, so do I. But like maybe I'll be right and I'll look smart.
I'm playing it this way as to like, yeah, no, see, I knew they were going to be really good. I just guessed, I'm going to say 11-6, because like I'm just, Burrow still is coming off of an injury. Bengals defense was not good last year. Yeah, we expect them to be better, but there's still questions that need to be answered to separate this team. Are they truly elite Super Bowl status, or are they a really good team that could make the AFC Championship game and maybe,
Yeah.
a contender or another good team?
Yeah, 100%. They're kind of on that gap right now, like on people's radar at least.
Yeah, people like they've been replaced by the obviously five
Texans.
Yeah, exactly. But replaced by the Texans in kind of the bigger consciousness. Now, granted, five primetime games. That's the second most amount. No one got more than 6, so people were still expecting the Bengals to draw in big ratings. It should, the schedule outside of the really stupid 3-10 games. I mean, the schedule is as friendly as it gets. Again, most of these things don't matter. What the teams looked like last year really don't matter. Teams flip so quickly from being great to being bad to being great. But again, Bengals are a solid football team. You have Joe Burrow. You're going to win more games than you lose. Which, just get to week 1 healthy.
In the playoffs, that's all I care about.
Yeah, well, it just get to the starting line. Just get to the starting line. Get to the blocks healthy. You have an opportunity to start out strong. The team finishes strong every year. Doesn't matter if they're how they start the season. They finish strong every single year. So if you get out of the blocks and you get a good start, you get 3-1, 4-1. Hell, you can get if you can take care of the Ravens at home, you can be 5-1 going into week 7 at the Browns, and then you lose that game. Okay, 5-2, and you're still you're still looking really, really good down the in the middle of the season.
Exactly.
So, any final schedule-related thoughts as we start to wrap up here for the week?
No, I'm just excited to talk about some actual football. Hopefully,
we have a while.
Yeah, I know.
NFL off season is just so damn.
Yeah.
Give me a couple good best bets for the weekend with NBA playoffs or whatever else you got.
Give me tonight. I think the Knicks close out the Pacers tonight, so I'm gonna take the Knicks money line. I think they're plus money too. I think they're plus money. I haven't looked honestly, but I'm pretty sure they're plus money. I haven't looked in a couple hours. And then for the Mavericks Thunder game, give me the Mavericks spread to close out that series too. I think the Mavericks close out the Thunder at home. I
would not have guessed that going in. Like I like them. I like Luka. I'm not a Kyrie fan, but like I've generally liked the Mavericks. But I thought the OKC was gonna 5-6 games.
I can't watch this series. It's the most boring series I've ever watched. If you watch this series at all, it is so boring. The Thunder, all they do is just double team Luka and Kyrie, so you don't even get to watch the stars really play. They're both Kyrie's averaging like 14 points and Luka's averaging like 22. Like it's the most. And then on the Thunder side of the ball, I just don't think the Thunder are that entertaining, to be honest. I know they're really good and they're really young and stuff, but it's just a lot of SGA ISOs and stuff. And it's just so slow paced because both teams slow it down. It's just like these games have all been like 90s basketball scores. And it's not really what you'd expect from teams with Luka Doncic and Kyrie and then SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet. But it is. It's really slow, boring basketball. And I like defensive struggles, but I like defensive struggles like Knicks games where like Brunson puts up 45, but like they have 86 points. Like I like those type of defensive struggles where it's just like I don't like watching when it's just double team after double team on the stars and I'm watching PJ Washington shoot 23 times a game. Like that's what this series has been. Like PJ Washington's averaging like 22.
PJ Washington, man. That
was actually my favorite Kentucky player of all time, weirdly. I loved him at Kentucky. But the NBA, he's a really solid player, but he shouldn't be.
Much. Yeah. So you like the Timberwolves holding the Nuggets to 70 points?
Oh, in that game, no.
That team can play some defense, man.
See, the reason I didn't give a bet for that game is because I'm not picking. I'll end up betting on it, but I'm not putting my name on any of that. I have no idea what's going to happen in that game 7. Truthfully.
Yeah, it's been a fun series. So
it's been awesome. Like last night was the greatest defensive game I've ever seen since probably ever, because the way basketball is now, to hold a team to 70 points is absurd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the way that, especially an offense like that's been like the most efficient offense over the last 2 years since they've been healthy again. And like 70 points is absurd in an NBA game. They allowed 7 points in the fourth quarter.
I mean, that's again, this is late 90s, early 2000s shit when you had the Knicks and the Heat just absolutely beating the crap out of you guys for 48 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. And Anthony Edwards, like, everybody was saying he was going to be the face of the league, like when he's like 25, 26. He might, like, if they get past the Nuggets and they win a title, he's the face of the NBA at age 22. Like,
if he can get the Timberwolves a title, I mean, that's Jordan taking the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls have been a pretty interesting team throughout their history outside of Jordan.
Jordan was what, 28 years old when he won his first title?
Yeah, I mean, he was in year 8.
Yeah, I think he was 20. I think he was 28 because it was 91, right?
Yeah.
Jordan's 60. Yeah, so then he was 28
when
he won his first title. LeBron was 27. So like all these all-time greats were older, like not older, obviously. 27, 28 is not old, but like
as opposed to early 20s.
Years older than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Especially being the number one option. Like Kawhi won Finals MVP at like 22, but like he won Finals MVP because he played the best in that series. Like he wasn't the number one option on the team.
Right. He was just a really good player that had a fantastic week and a half.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Edwards is someone that just kind of popped. Like, again, I don't follow a ton of basketball just because I don't have the time or ability to follow it like as much as I do NBA or baseball or even college basketball for that matter. But I don't want to say he came out of nowhere, but it was like, like the draft pedigree and everything. He's drafted where drafted as highly as he was. You knew he had the ability, but all of a sudden, like, just seeing the highlights and some of the blocks, like the guy's 6'4", and seeing some of the defensive plays that he makes, it's like, holy shit, this is
he dunks so effortlessly.
The one that he made,
like the crossover he had last night to the
didn't see that.
Wow.
I mean, he's a freak, and not a lot of big time college basketball players come from University of Georgia.
No.
So
he pulled the Ben Simmons route. He went to a non-basketball school so he could shoot every time down the floor, and then just like went for the number one pick.
And you're playing against SEC's big time basketball, so you're getting eyes and you're getting to play against tough competition. So
and you're losing most of your games, but you're putting up 20. So
they don't have to project as much with you. All right, elsewhere around the Riverfront, Riverfront Red Show, the flagship show, entertaining as hell. Chad was there with Old Man, the Podfather, Bill Lack, and Chris Garber. Lack dropped the, I believe, second ever F-bomb in Red's show history. Tim dropped the first one a couple months back with Nate and me. So that was entertaining. Thoughts on whether David Bell should be fired or not. NBA Friday was always entertaining, and that was dropped a little bit early. Late Night Reds live every Sunday, 9 p.m. with Tim and Ben. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch the interview that Tim had with Dodgers. I can't remember the name. I had the name of the guy, the Dodgers reporter, and Tim was on his show too, talking to the Dodgers about this weekend show or about this weekend series. Really, really good time. So outside of that, any final parting shots before we boogie?
No, sir.
Same. Everyone have a good weekend. Next weekend, we're going to talk about all-time defensive, all-time favorite players on defense. So that'd be a fun one. So we'll try to bring someone else older than me in, just to have someone that actually saw games in the 70s. So you guys like Tommy Casanova and Mike Reed, as opposed to anyone just 85 or 90 and older, and this young guy here next to me. So Parker Fields, I am Joe Farsing. Everyone take care, and we will see you next time.